Hello, welcome to Bradford Cathedral. We are an eco-cathedral and we're so super excited because we're going to be celebrating Fairtrade Fortnight, which is our annual tradition. And we love being an eco-cathedral. It affects everything we do. Here at Bradford Cathedral, we are a fair trade church. That means we are deeply, deeply committed to making sure that our sugar, our tea and our coffee all come from fair trade sources. And we particularly like buying from Tradecraft, but there are other places you can buy fair trade from. You need to look for this logo to make sure that it's fair traded. Also here at the Cathedral, we regularly sell produce every Sunday morning when of course it's not the pandemic, and we try and encourage other people to buy from fair trade. We're coming up to Easter time, a time when everybody loves to eat chocolate. And chocolate is one of those things that fair trade companies like Tradecraft do very, very well. So when you're buying your Easter eggs, try and look for the fair trade symbol, knowing that as you enjoy the delicious chocolate, you're also helping people to live good lives around the world. So we're going to start celebrating our Fairtrade Fortnight with a Fairtrade Breakfast. And whilst we can't all gather in the cathedral, as I am here today, we can all do this together at home. Fairtrade isn't just about once a year thinking about it. It's about things we can do every day in our lives to make a difference. And the breakfast is a good example of a good place to start and begin your day. So how can we do fair trade, locally sourced and organic? Well, let me show you. I thought this morning that I wouldn't have a cooked breakfast. It's not normally the thing I would do. However, I do enjoy cereal. And Tradecraft is really good at producing some wonderful examples of fair trade breakfast. And this one's an exotic fruit muesli. When I finish that, obviously I'm going to be adding some nice milk. Now, have you thought about where you get your milk? Recently, I've switched to getting my milk from the milkman, and that's a really good way of caring for our environment. It supports local milk farmers and producers. And of course, it comes in a glass bottle which can be recycled, and the little tinfoil cap on the top can also be recycled. So that's a good way to enjoy your breakfast. Next, I'm going to make sure I have a nice hot drink. Well, how am I going to have my drinks today? Is it going to be tea or is it going to be coffee? Well, it doesn't matter because Tradecraft does a fair trade version of both. So this morning I'm going to have tea, and here is an example of Tradecraft's tea. But even if you can't get to Tradecraft to buy your product, look for the symbol, which is the fair trade mark, and that will tell you that the tea is fairly traded. It's the same with the coffee. Let me show you the coffee that I thought we might drink later on. This one happens to be from Peru. And the wonderful thing about this coffee and this tea is I know that every sip I take will mean that someone somewhere who's been busy farming and harvesting the coffee beans and the tea leaves will be getting a fair wage. A fair wage means that they'll be able to have a good meal on their table, their children will have education, and if they get poorly, they'll be able to afford medicine. So I know every sip is saving lives and making a real difference. Then, of course, maybe you like to put sugar in your drinks. Well, again, surprise, surprise, Tradecraft do a whole variety of amazing sugars. But if you go to your local supermarket, you will also see that several types of sugar packs have, again, the fair trade logo. So look for the fair trade logo and see what you can get. Then you might want to move on to your toast. Well, I've got this toast. Again, you could maybe be one of those people making your own bread. And if you are, well, again, look for flour that is locally produced, i.e. in Great Britain, if possible. Look for it to be organic, and then you know it's really healthy. Again, having a go making your bread. You might want to put marmalade or jam on. You might even be somebody that likes to make your own jam, which is absolutely brilliant, harvesting the hedgerows. Here today I'm going to have marmalade, and this one again has come from tradecraft, and that means that most of the ingredients will have been organically and fairly traded, so the farmers again will get a fair wage for a fair day's work. Maybe you would like to have butter on your toast. I tend to look for organic and again English butter where possible. Then I might have some bananas to finish off with. Important with bananas, look for the Fairtrade logo. Bananas are one of those really important areas where this country imports vast numbers of bananas. So when it comes to eating bananas, especially bananas, look for the Fairtrade logo. There are many bananas on our supermarket shelves that do not have the Fairtrade logo, and that means that the farmers are not being given a fair wage. It doesn't cost very much more to buy bananas that are fairly traded, where the farmers are cared for and can look after their families as a result. Some supermarkets have stopped stocking Fairtrade bananas, but if you ask to speak to the manager and ask them for their Fairtrade bananas, they will make sure they go back on the shelves. So join me on the 7th of March for your Fairtrade breakfast at 9 o'clock in the morning, and let's make a difference. Thank you for joining me.